Hello everyone, my name is Bhavin Chauhan. I am studying in FY BPT of LJ Institute of Physiotherapy, and now I am going to demonstrate the knee joint. Features of knee joint. The knee is the largest and most complex joint of the body. The complexity is the result of fusion of three joints in one. It is formed by the fusion of lateral femorotibial, medial femorotibial and femoropatellar joints. It is a condylar synovial joint incorporating two condylar joints between the condyles of femur and tibia and one saddle joint present between femur and patella. Now I will explain about articular surfaces. The knee joint is formed by first the condyles of the femur, second the patella, and third the condyles of the tibia. The femoral condyles articulate with the tibial condyles below and behind and with the patella in front. Now I will explain ligaments. The knee joint is supported by the following ligaments. First, fibrous capsule. The fibrous capsule is very thin and deficient anteriorly, where it is replaced by the quadriceps femoris, the patella and the ligamentum patella. It has femoral attachment and tibial attachment. The fibrous capsule is attached to the periphery of the menisci. The part of the capsule between the menisci and the tibia is sometimes called the coronary ligament. Second, ligamentum patella. This is the central portion of the common tendon of insertion of quadriceps femoris. It is about 7.5 cm long and 2.5 cm broad. It is attached about to the margins and rough posterior surface of the apex of patella to the smooth upper part of tibial tuberosity. Now third, tibial collateral or medial ligament. This is a long band of great strength. Superiorly, it is attached to the medial epicondyle of the femur just below the adductor tubercle. Inferiorly, it divides into anterior and posterior parts. Now fourth, fibular collateral or lateral ligament. This ligament is strong and cord-like. It is about 5 cm long. Superiorly, it is attached to the lateral epicondyle of the femur just above the popliteal groove. And inferiorly, it is embraced by the tendon of biceps femoris and attached to the head of fibula in front of its apex. Now, fifth, oblique popliteal ligament. This is an expansion from the tendon of semimembranosus. It runs upward and laterally blends with the posterior surface of the capsule and is attached to the intercondylar line and lateral condyle of the femur. Now sixth is arcuate popliteal ligament. It is a posterior expansion from the short lateral ligament. It expands backward from the head of the fibula, arches over the tendon of popliteus and is attached to the posterior border of intercondylar area of tibia. Now, cruciate ligaments. There are two types of cruciate ligaments, anterior cruciate ligaments and posterior cruciate ligaments. They are very thick and strong fibrous bands and act as direct bond of union between tibia and femur, and they maintain anterior-posterior stability of the knee joint. Anterior cruciate ligament begins from anterior part of intercondylar area of tibia, runs upward, backward and laterally and attached to the posterior part of medial surface of lateral condyle of femur. Now posterior cruciate ligament, it begins from the posterior part of intercondylar area of tibia, runs upward, forward and medially, and it is attached to the anterior part of the lateral surface of medial condyle of femur. Now 10th, lateral meniscus and medial meniscus. Now I will explain about meniscus. There are two types of meniscus, medial meniscus and lateral meniscus in knee joint. The menisci are two fibrocartilaginous discs. They are shaped like crescents. They deepen the articular surface of the condylus of tibia. The medial meniscus is nearly semicircular, being wider behind than in front. The lateral meniscus is nearly circular. The posterior end of the meniscus is attached to the medial condyle of femur through two meniscofemoral ligaments. Now 11th, transverse ligament. It connects the anterior end of the medial and lateral menisci. Now you can see here a diagram showing fibular and tibial collateral ligaments of the knee joint. This is sartorius. This is semimembranosus. These are muscles present in the structures. Here you can see the inferior medial genicular vessels and nerve. These are the superior and deep parts of tibial collateral ligament. These are inferior lateral genicular vessels and nerve. These are tendon of biceps femoris. This is capsular ligament present in between knee joint. There are 12 bursas present on the knee joint, 4 on lateral and 4 anterior and 4 on medial. Now I will explain about the blood supply of knee joint. The chief sources of the blood supply are: first, 5 genicular branches of the popliteal artery; second, descending genicular branch of the femoral artery; third, the descending branch of the lateral circumflex femoral artery; fourth, the 2 recurrent branches of the anterior tibial artery; and fifth, the circumflex fibular branch of the posterior tibial artery. Now I will explain about the nerve supply. There are 3 nerve supply in the knee joint. First, femoral nerve through its branches of the vesti, especially vastus medialis. Second, sciatic nerve through the genicular branches of the tibial and common peroneal nerve. Now third, obturator nerve through its the posterior division. Now I will explain about the movement occurring at the knee joint. First, extension. Extension occurs due to the quadriceps femoris. Second, locking. That is standing in attention. That locking is that position is produced by vastus medialis muscle. Third, unlocking. That is standing at ease. It is produced by popliteus muscle. Fourth, flexion. It is produced by 3 muscles: biceps femoris, semitendinosus and semimembranosus. And now fifth, medial rotation of flexed leg. It occurs due to popliteus, semimembranosus and semitendinosus. Now sixth, lateral rotation of flexed leg. It occurs due to biceps femoris muscle. Start. Now I will explain about the clinical anatomy of the knee joint. First, osteoarthritis. It is age-related cartilage degeneration of articular surfaces. It is characterized by the growth of osteophytes at the articular ends, which makes movement limited and painful. Second, deformities of the knee. The angle between the long axis of the thigh and that of the leg may be abnormal, and leg may be abnormally abducted or abnormally erected. This may cause due to the rickets or posture or as congenital abnormality. Third, injuries to the knee. These may be affected by various diseases. Fourth point, injuries to the knee. Injury occurs to the menisci and cruciate ligaments. Now malignant of patella. Ideally the patella is resting in the center of width of femur in a relaxed standing position. However, the petal-like position may be altered congenitally or due to the tightness of the surrounding structure, which may lead to painful condition of the patellofemoral joint. Semimembranosus bursitis. It is very common. It causes swelling in the popliteal fossa region on the posterior medial aspect. Now, Baker's cyst. It is a central swelling occurs due to osteoarthritis at knee joint. The synovial membrane protrudes through a hole in the posterior part of the capsule of knee joint.